Moments ago, incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim declared victory in the mayoral election. His opponent, John Gomes, who was on the ballot as an independent candidate, has announced his campaign will be taking a pause. Connecticut's news station has live team coverage for you tonight. Fox 61's Matt Caron is with the Gomes campaign. We'll hear more about what he had to say in just a moment. But first, let's send things right out to Fox 61's Jake Garcia, who's with the Ganim campaign. Jake.
Well, Sarah, it only took nearly 45 minutes after the polls closed for incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim to declare victory in this special election race. Now, at the time of his speech, only 25% of the votes were counted. Ganim was welcomed with cheers 4 more years as he took the stage to address the crowd. Ganim thanked his supporters and said that now was the time to get down to business and getting back to the work for the people of Bridgeport, and said voters sent a clear message.
If it wasn't clear 3 times in a row, it's clear today, louder than ever. Bridgeport has spoken. The people of Bridgeport have in a resounding way answered the call for the 4th time in the middle of February, and said yes to progress in the city that we've started and are committed to continuing with your help. Thank you, Bridgeport.
And following his speech, he said that this is a new day for the city, and he's focused on the future rather than the past, and urged people to join in or get out of the way because Bridgeport is on the move. Now, some supporters have decided to stick around and celebrate, only a few dozen in fact, but it was a whirlwind of a victory speech. Reporting live in Bridgeport, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Jake. As for the mayor's opponent in this 4th election in Bridgeport, John Gomes isn't quite conceding. He spoke to his constituents tonight, and the message he's conveying remains positive. Fox 61's Matt Caron continues our coverage from Bridgeport with more from the Gomes campaign. Matt.
Well, right now we are at the Mayoral restaurant in Bridgeport, where John Gomes arrived just a few minutes ago to a very enthusiastic crowd, although he had to deliver a very sobering message to his supporters, but he did it with a whole lot of energy. Now, right now, with about 25% of the vote in, Mayor Ganim is leading John Gomes by 55 to 40%, and barring any unforeseen legal circumstances, Mayor Ganim is poised to be reelected as mayor of Bridgeport. But John Gomes basically told people that his quest for the mayor's office has concluded, but that his movement to bring transparency and accountability back to the democratic process here in the city continues. And he took to the stage just minutes ago. Here's what he had to say.
Conceding, no. Conceding is to give up. Conceding is to give up. We understand our journey has ended with this election, but the fight and the movement will continue.
Are you accepting that he won, though?
The numbers are what they are, but the facts behind it speak the truth. And I will let every voter, I will let every elected official interpret it as such. But we know the facts. We understand what has happened.
So Gomes said he's going to be sleeping in late tomorrow, taking a few days to decompress, but then he's going to be back at it, advocating for change at the state level to make elections more secure. He said people need to be held accountable for what he says are the crimes that were committed in this election. Let's be honest, it was an uphill battle for Gomes from the beginning, who lost 3 rounds of voting and in the last couple of days ceded key state endorsements from the Democratic Party officials to Mayor Ganim, endorsements that Gomes really did wear as a badge of honor towards the end, saying that they represented the status quo, which he says has been a history of fraud and corruption in the city of Bridgeport. We're going to have much more coming up on the news at 10:30 and then again at 11 o'clock. But for now, we're live in Bridgeport. Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.